and for 10, 15 minutes, the White Plains police were chasing me all around White Plains. When I walk out, there's like 15 cops with their guns drawn.
It says on Wikipedia that as a youth, you were in a street gang called the Duckies, which also consisted of Blackie Lawless from Wasp.
Now that's a lie.
Fiction?
That's incorrect. That's fiction. Blackie was never in the Ducky. I didn't meet Blackie until much later in my life. So, I don't know where that came from. Blackie probably wrote that in to try to get some more press for himself. And I met Blackie in LA back in the 70s,
Wow.
The Duckies, I mean, you can verify the existence of the Duckies by watching the movie The Warriors, because the Duckies are in The Warriors. So there you go. Fact.
At Kiss concerts is an effect made primarily from raw egg whites, strawberry syrup, and red food coloring.
With the yellow of the sticky part.
With the yolk of the egg.
Oh, only if you get the yolk. Oh, Gene.
So not egg whites, the full egg. A tiny bit of fiction in there. At the age of 13, you received your first guitar as a Christmas present, along with a pipe and a box of condoms.
No.
No.
A pipe and a box of condoms.
I was really hoping that one would be true.
I received my first guitar, and then I subsequently got a little amp. A little Japanese amp. It was a little Japanese guitar. It was called a Zimgar or a Kent or something. I don't know. But, it started a revolution, I mean, the first E chord I hit on an electric guitar knocked my socks off, and I knew I was destined to play electric guitar.
It says on Wikipedia that yourself, arguably the driving force of Kiss during the 1970s.
Yeah, that's not fair.
No? Okay.
No, I think, it's politically correct to say all for one, one for all. I think it's fair to say there's something called chemistry. If I was with the wrong guy, with a different set of guys, like if you guys and I formed a band, we may not have reached all the way. Driving, schmiving, so you depend on each other.
Okay. Wicked Lester changed its name to Kiss in January 1973.
Well, Wicked Lester, that's not true. Wicked Lester disbanded. Paul and Gene left Wicked Lester to form a different type of group, a heavier rock group. They hired Peter Criss. They hired me, and then the four of us came up with the name Kiss.
Wow.
So you really can't say Wicked Lester changed their name.
Okay.
When we met Paul and Gene, they weren't Wicked Lester anymore.
Wow, another fiction. Not doing well. Kiss's debut album, the cover photo shoot. You wanted to impress the other members of Kiss by dyeing your hair with silver spray paint. And not only did it not come out for several weeks, but you suffered an allergic reaction.
False.
Fiction.
Fiction.
What happened?
It was just silver spray that washed out. I think whoever wrote that is confused with what happened to me in Paris.
What happened in Paris?
I was in Paris, and I bumped into a fashion model that I knew from New York, and she was doing a photo shoot there. Anyway, we ended up getting drunk on like 4 bottles of champagne, and I ended up passing out in the bed with my makeup on after the show. And when I woke up, I had an allergic reaction from not taking the silver off because it's ground up metal. And my eyes were swollen shut and I was blind. So I called my manager, I can't see, help! And they rushed the doctor over and they shot me up with like prednisone, an anti-inflammatory and it took it down, but for a minute there, I thought I was blind. I didn't know what had happened. It was insane.
Calling Dr. Love. The song's title came from your recollection of the Three Stooges film Men in Black, which contained the No.
You're getting close.
Am I?
Yeah, but no film, no nothing. The Three Stooges made shorts. They were half-hour long.
Okay, yes. So
Calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard, calling Dr. Fine.
Calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, Dr. Howard.
And I started to walk around going, calling Dr. Howard, Dr. Fine, calling Dr. Howard, calling Dr. Love, calling Dr. Love, because I got the cure you're thinking of. Oops, what did I just say? And the song, and there I was doing Georgie Jessel, who you have no idea
I've heard Gilbert Gottfried reference him before.
George Jessel?
Yes.
He was going to be the original jazz singer.
In the Jazz Singer film?
Yeah, but he was a jackass. I knew Georgie before he died.
Oh. Do you believe he was a jackass?
Yes.
Yeah. You have to admire the honesty, really, you do. In the late 1970s, you came up with the idea of building a headset which would project a laser beam from your right eye. But the idea was scrapped because it was thought that it could cause you eye damage and eye damage to the fans.
False.
Fiction.
I believe that was Paul. Paul was gonna have a laser coming out of his eye. I was gonna have the laser coming out of my guitar and blow things up in the light truss. And because of what happened with Blue Oyster Cult, they blinded somebody in concert. All of a sudden, all these regulations came down really heavy on using lasers live. So they had routed out a channel through my guitar neck for the fiber optic for the laser. So we just pulled that out. We ran wires through it, and I ended up connecting rockets. So it went from a laser to shooting rockets, and I think the rockets were a better effect.
That's pretty cool. It says that Anton Fig was considered a member of KISS for one day.
No.
False. Okay.
Yeah, he did play on a whole record because Peter just wasn't cutting it. So, but we didn't tell people. But Anton Fig actually played on Unmasked, I think it was, the whole album.
Okay. So it says that he was fired by yourself and Paul, who felt like he was not a good fit for the band. But
almost. Actually, Ace voted also to let him go.
Okay.
All three of us.
All right. So a bit of fiction in there. KISS meets the Phantom of the Park. The members of KISS despised the film, and for years after its airing, no one who worked for the band was permitted to mention the film in the presence of the KISS members.
Not in my case.
Yeah.
I always thought the film was hysterical.
Yeah?
You know, I think it's very tongue-in-cheek and campy. From what I understand, Paul and Gene don't like the film and don't like to talk about it, but I never had a problem with it.
It was never like if one of the guys brought it up and, you know,
I didn't have a
at.
problem with it. I mean, Paul and Gene may have been in that state of mind, but it never happened around me.
All right, so there you go. Ace Frehley likes that movie.
I hope I cleared some stuff up.
Vinnie Vincent was fired following the Lick It Up tour, due in part to excessive guitar soloing at a 1984 concert in Quebec.
Well, he was let go because he never, to this day, ever signed his contract.
Oh. He was let go because he didn't want to sign a contract?
Well, he kept renegotiating, and we said this is simply an offer for employment, and there's no negotiation.
Gotcha.
Do you want the job or not? Oh yeah, I promise I'll pull out. And it just kept going and going, and we did tours. We couldn't insure him, so eventually we just let him go.
Okay. Was excessive soloing ever an issue?
Sure.
Okay.
But that's not a legal issue.
Your solo song, Rock Soldiers, is an autobiographical song written partially about a car accident you had in April 1982.
Well, it wasn't a car accident, it was a car chase. I was pulled over in my DeLorean, I was with a friend of mine.
A DeLorean.
And I was driving with a suspended license, and I didn't have my registration. And my friend was in the car, and a cop pulled us over because I bumped into a guy's car that was worth about $250. And he got out and he saw my car, and he figured maybe he could get some money out of me. And I said, "What are you, out of your mind?" Anyway, some cop saw us arguing. He walks over and he goes, "License and registration." I said, "Okay, no problem." I get in the car, I pull down the gold wing door, and I told my friend, "Get out of the car because I'm taking off." So he got out of the car, and I just slammed it. And for 10, 15 minutes, the White Plains police were chasing me all around White Plains, and I eluded them.
You got away from them?
Yeah, I got away from them. I pulled over at a deli to make a phone call to have my friend come and pick me up. And the guy that owned the deli looked out at the car, and there was smoke rising from everywhere, and there was dents all over it. And I seemed a little crazy because I was. And he called the cops, and I'm waiting for my friend to show up. I'm in the phone booth. when I walk out, there's like 15 cops with their guns drawn. And they arrested me, handcuffed me, and took me away.
How did they get that so wrong?
It's in my book. Read it. No regrets.
Oh my God. You essentially escaped the police in a car chase in a DeLorean.
I was going like 80 miles an hour against traffic on the Bronx
88
River
miles
Parkway, and I hit fifth gear and I was gone. The cop Chevy Nova couldn't keep up with me.
Last one for you. Gene Simmons' Family Jewels. Although it is presented as a reality series, it has been noted that some events shown on the show did not actually occur. One of these events was depicted in the finale of Season 3, where the viewer is led to believe that Gene purchases an Australian football team, Carlton Football Club, while in reality there is no record of the team being sold to you.
The reality is that I did purchase it. It was a one-day purchase, and it's called a foldback, I think, where you go in, and it was a way to shield taxes, Australian taxes.
Really? Wow. Okay, how does that... you're paying taxes in Australia?
As soon as you earn money offshore, you have to pay offshore taxes, and then that's put against the American taxes, but they hold on to your money, and while they hold on to your money, you don't get the benefit of they loan out your money while they hold on to it for a year.
Okay.
It's an old banking trick, and it's legal.
Right.
Yes, to circumvent that, what you want to do is to minimize your legal and tax exposure. Children, sign up for the Gene Simmons Masterclass.
Your cover of New York Groove. It said that your unique take on the song was inspired by your experience with hookers in Times Square during the 1970s.
False.
False. All right, there you go.
False.
Was there anything in particular that inspired your version of that song?
No.
No, it's just...
I mean, think about it. You're talking about in the 70s with hookers.
Well, Times Square was very different.
You know how many groupies I had? Why would I pay for it?
I don't know if it meant that you were paying for it, but like maybe.
Well, hookers don't usually give it away for free.
No.
But I mean, if you would have said groupies, I would have said, yeah, probably.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Was it inspired by groupies?
No.
No.
No, we just had fun with it. And I remember like it was yesterday, that thud sound, the beat. We were all stomping on boxes. Me, Eddie Kramer, a couple other guys, the engineers. That's how we got that thud sound, Today it would have been done, with a drum machine or something. But
Sure.
back then, we didn't have them.
All right. Okay, so no hookers.
No hookers.
No.
But there were Rockettes during the recording of that.
Did they inspire the
Well,
recording?
I recorded that album at a studio that used to be above Radio City.
Oh, no.
So all the
Okay.
Rockettes that dance in the show used to have to go past the studio, the staircase, to go up to the roof and lay in the sun, scantily dressed. So maybe
So you
that's
weren't
how
in-
some of it,
So you
maybe
weren't in
that's
the,
how it got started.
you weren't in the studio much then?
No, I was in the studio a lot, but sometimes we get visits by Rockettes. Sometimes we go up to the bridge, up to the roof and have a beer with them,
Just a beer?
But, nothing got too out of hand because I was
No.
really trying to be focused for this record.
All right. The professional way to do it.
Yeah.
The 96 Farewell Tour. It said that the tour was an attempt to put Kiss out of its misery following legal troubles during production of Psycho Circus.
Come again?
It said that the tour was an attempt to put Kiss out of its misery,
I don't get that. What do you mean?
to kill Kiss.
Huh?
To like kill Kiss as a reunion band, I guess. That the tour was like the final nail in the coffin, purposely. That's what it says.
What, the reunion tour?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, they told me that was going to be it. It was going to be a one-time tour. And then after that, we made so much money, it was like, oh, well, let's do a record. Let's do a Psycho Circus tour. After that, I would say, okay, this is over.
Yeah.
And then they go, oh, let's do a farewell tour. And, you know what happened after that?
Yeah.
They just keep going. They're riding the wave. But the height of the wave is getting lower.